every way you look at it. The weakness of mankind is exposed. Mankind, our weakness is shown, not our strength, not our greatness. The weakness of mankind, the greatness of Allah, and the greatness of His mercy, that despite His greatness, He's showing mercy to this weak but disobedient creature. Disobedient, people are going to say. Shaitan is disobedient. Shaitan was disobedient one time. Mankind is continuously disobedient. You don't see a cat being disobedient, or a mosquito. You don't see anything that Allah has created going out of its true nature. Everything is functioning according to the nature that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. Mankind is going out of its nature, especially this Ahir of the Ahir Zaman. It's like everyone hates their own nature and their own originality. They have to come out from that. And governments and regimes and think tanks, they are supporting this. May Allah protect us from the confusion of the Ahir Zaman. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. We are 10 days. 10 days before we reach to the 3 holy months. 10 days that for the believer is looking forward to it. Not just because it's Ramadan that is coming, but Rajab, the month of Allah, Shahrullah. Shaban, the month of the Prophet ﷺ. Then Ramadan is like, already that is the, icing on the cake. You don't have the cake, the icing doesn't mean anything. By the way that they're pushing the ummah now, only Ramadan. Only Ramadan. What happens when you are not being prepared for Ramadan? You enter into Ramadan, like they say, cold. You enter just like that. You didn't prepare yourself, your body, your spirit, your mind, your understanding, everything has to be prepared. Everything in this life, for a big event, you have to be prepared. When you don't, then Ramadan just became like that. That the Prophet ﷺ is saying there are people who fast in the month of Ramadan and all they get is thirst and hunger. That's it. Thirst and hunger. It doesn't become an exercise for the spirit, for the ego. Thirst and hunger is just one of the things that the ego, our nafs, our body. There's dunya, our desires. It's just thirst and hunger, one of those things that they use. It's also desires. It's not just thirst and hunger and the bodily desires that is below your belly button. It's other things too. Like what the old alims used to say. I'm saying old alims because these new alims, they're no good for nothing also. Because when you cut off the spirituality from ilm, what you get is a kind of religion that is very close to Yahudi religion. When you just claim to have spirituality and you don't have ilm, then your religion is close to, like people say, I'm very spiritual. So spiritual, they go to Hajj, they don't want to make tawaf. I'd like to make dhikr. When you have that, you have a kind of a Christian religion. You play around with the Shariatullah. So what happens now? When you're taking the Ramadan and you are not trying to understand, who is going to make us understand? We are awam. The people who claim to have knowledge, and they are our leaders, when they're not reminding us of the spiritual value of Ramadan, that you're not just fighting against hunger and against thirst. You're fighting against the nature of what? The nature of your nafs. Like what the old alims they're saying, fasting is easy. Hunger and thirst and that. But when are you going to fast? With all the other organs, with all the other senses, when are you going to fast? To stay away, to starve yourself from wrong things that you say, wrong things that you hear, wrong things that you see, wrong things that you think about. When you stay away from all those wrong things, what is it that is left? Your Lord has to be left, because after you say La to every ilah, there's nothing there but illallah. So once a year, at least, people who like tasawwuf don't like tasawwuf, people who say, I'm Sufi, I don't like Sufis, this or that. Once a year, you're going through exactly what Ahli Tariqat they're going through, especially the Nakshibendi order. You fight against your nafs. You make the Jihadul Akbar. You make the struggle against your nafs. Your nafs, the nature of your nafs, which is to disobey Allah. The nature of your nafs that is saying, I am Lord. The nature of the nafs that goes in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and saying, you are you and I am me. That Allah gives the power in our hands, that not even His angels, they have that power to overtake that ego. Because one time, to teach us a lesson, He made some angels. Angels don't have desires. When they do certain things, Allah is inspiring them and making them to do certain things because they don't have any desires. They have been created only to worship Allah and to submit and to obey Allah 100%. Allah made a couple of angels to say, we don't know what the fuss is about, so difficult being a human. Okay, let's go and become a human for some time. And they were sent to this world in the bodily form with everything that the human body as insan has. You know the story of Harut and Marut, the angels that were sent to Babylon, to the Iraq. So many things happened to them. They met a woman, tricked them. Nighttime, they have to go up and finish their angelic duties, reciting the Ismul Azam, disappearing. Morning time coming back. They got drunk. They got tricked. And she took that Ismul Azam and she recited it, and completely she disappeared. And when they wanted to go back up, they couldn't recite that. Those angels then, they're hung upside down until Judgment Day. That's a lesson for us. So once a year for 1400 years, whole Ummat understanding Ramadan to say La to the Ilah, not the statue in front of you, to the Ilah that you worship in your heart, because a lot of people, their Ilah is nothing but eating and drinking. They say La to that. Of course, today's Ramadan, Ahir Zaman, they say, oh, it's a time for family. It's a time for get together. It's taken on the language of every other festival that they have that is not Islam. Huh? It's a time for good memories, like Christmas, like Thanksgiving. It's not. May Allah make us to wake up. These words are for you and first for me. If you like it, you take it. You don't like it, leave it. It's okay. It doesn't matter to me. But these words to remind first myself of the heaviness of the month of Allah. and the month of the Prophet ﷺ, and the month of the Ummah, that in the month of the Ummah he has hidden the greatest night, the night of the power that he has given specially to this Ummah, because the Sahabis were asking for it. Inshallah, may Allah forgive me and bless you, and for us to think, to understand, to know why. Judgment Day is not just a day of punishment and day of reward. Judgment Day is there. Allah can just not have Judgment Day, just put us to paradise or put us to Jahannam, no? Why has to have Judgment Day? What is Judgment Day for? It is again for us. What is it for? To make us understand again. So the whole thing is for mankind to understand, because only we have been created with that capacity to understand. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a part of His divine qualities. It is not a divine quality. Allah does not give a part of Himself. That time if you have a part of Allah, anyone can claim Him the son of Allah, hasha, like the Christians they are claiming. An understanding, a small understanding of that, irada, a will. But that irada, it is a small irada, it is not a big. That small irada is to understand again the greatness of your Lord. If mankind doesn't understand his weakness, he will declare himself Lord. May we understand the greatness of our Lord, because every day He's showing us a new splendor. If we are not running to try to understand that, how we can say we are believers? You see? That's why Tasawwuf, they say, man came to Hazrati Mevlana Rumi saying, I want to enter into tariqat, I want to follow you. He says, have you ever fallen in love? He says, no, go fall in love first. This is it. Because you cannot use any other language, you cannot have. And that ability to fall in love, Allah has put into every human being. Whether you fall in love with good or bad, human or whatever, you fall in love. Something overtakes you. And you say, I cannot get enough of this every day. I want something else. I want something more. I'm seeing something else. I'm seeing something more. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us with that law. And He has only created us to know Him and to worship Him. Tariqat must wake you up to that. It is not to sit around and to talk about lights. And this vision is not to sit around and talk about stations that you have reached, or your dreams, or your this, or your that. All that is games. Be very careful. If He's not teaching you to become an Abdullah, to understand your weakness and the greatness of your Lord, if you're not with someone that is going to knock you wall to wall, if you are with someone who's just going to praise you, be careful. They want something from you. Run away. May Allah forgive me, inshallah. May Allah raise the station of our Shaykh high, and may Allah make us to understand more the holy Ottomans and the Khilafat. And may Allah bring them back. Ameen. May Allah bring down this Dajjalic system. Ameen. And may Allah make us to be ready for Hazrat Mahdi alayhi salam. Wa min Allah tawfiq al-Fatiha.